My name is Bronwen Powell, and I'm with C4. And it's been really exciting to work with C4 for the last 2 years on the topic of forests and food security and nutrition, because it has been such an opportunity to apply the nutrition-sensitive lens outside of the regular locations where it's applied. Lawrence Haddad and Per and many colleagues at IFPRI have really called for the application of a nutrition-sensitive lens in agriculture and development in many different fields. But it's only really at C4 that we have started to use the nutrition-sensitive lens to look at the role of forests, trees, and agroforests, although colleagues at IFPRI do this as well. I shouldn't leave them out. So I think that we need to not only reach out to the the agriculture community in terms of integrating nutrition, but also people who are involved in land use policy, people who are involved in conservation policy, because I think there's room there too to engage with them. I'm really happy to hear the enthusiasm for systems approaches within A4&H and within the EcoHealth approach. And I think it really parallels very nicely the landscape approaches that are increasingly being used in the conservation communities and are really being promoted by our Director General at C4 and by our Deputy Director General, Robert Nassi, who's sitting in the audience here. And I think there's a lot of parallels between the two approaches and a lot of room to work together to achieve these multiple goals that we're all committed to. I have to note that the concept of nutrition-sensitive landscapes, I believe, grew out of a side event that my supervisor, Terry Sunderland, and I organized for the FAO Forests and Food Security Conference last year. It's so exciting to see how much it's grown and how well it's been taken up by other researchers and institutions. I'm just delighted. In addition to the ability of this concept and approach to address these multiple goals within a landscape, I'm personally really excited about this approach because I think that landscape configuration and landscape level diversity is an important determinant of dietary choice. There's a growing body of research around food environments from the developed world that look at distance to supermarket, distance to fast food restaurant, and the relationship between those factors in the food environment and dietary choice. There's also increasing recognition that dietary choice is largely not conscious. It's driven by social cultural factors. It's driven by small differences in price and accessibility. So within that context, I think that the nutrition-sensitive landscape approach applied in developing countries is really exciting because we can really understand how small differences in access and cost can impact diet. And to that point, there are recently, within the last just 2 or 3 years, a number of publications showing very clear relationships between tree and forest cover and diet quality. Clear relationships between the proximity to forests and the amount of tree cover within a small distance of the village or the house, and markers of dietary quality like frequency of fruit and vegetable consumption, dietary diversity. There are now studies from Tanzania, Malawi, a paper led by my colleague Amy Ikowitz from 21 African countries showing a relationship between tree cover or forest cover and dietary diversity and fruit and vegetable consumption. And we also have another forthcoming paper from Indonesia showing that forest cover is related to animal source food consumption and vegetable consumption. No, not vegetable consumption, but fruit consumption. So in a context where we struggle still to scrape together evidence of the links between agriculture and nutrition, we can't ignore this increasing body of evidence of the importance of forests and tree cover for diet. Although we don't understand yet really the details of where these relationships are coming from, I think this is a really important thing that we need to pay attention to in the nutrition-sensitive landscape research agenda and in future research projects that want to apply a landscape-level approach. And I have some publications that do not include our most recent publications, but if anybody's interested, they're here.